Here's what's coming up inside Jamaica Magazine. Major projects continue under the rural transformation drive of the Ministry of Local Government. Plus, 20% off your JPS electricity bill of 200 kilowatt hours or less for postpaid customers and $3,000 top-up for prepaid. That's under the GOJ Energy Co-Pay Initiative. Hello there, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Welcome. We are in June, which is the start of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season. So let us take all the necessary precautions to safeguard lives and property.
What a way you're full of our roots and culture. That was in Jamaica 60. Jamaica 60? What a piece of news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going bust up.
Just in, the island of Jamaica is on the verge of celebrating its 60th year of independence.
I only we have to celebrate it. They say the people them come here, you know. But you see, when our people decide, say the other people them free paper, them say if it's war, start it, whatever. We are collect medal, panta
The celebrations are slated to begin on January 1st, 2022. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We have more in this report.
I am on site and planning activities are ablaze. Persons are advised to download the Reggae Jamaica app to know what it activities for the Jamaica 60 celebration.
I forgot to download the app to get the updates then.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, June 2, 2022. Jamaica's economy is estimated to have grown by 8.1% during the 2021-2022 fiscal year. This was sustained by estimated growth of 9.6% in the services industry and 3% in the goods-producing industry. The information was released by the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, at its digital quarterly media briefing on Wednesday. Director General Dr. Wayne Henry says the outturn for the fiscal year falls within the PIOJ's projected target range of 7 to 9%. It also reflects improved performances in all goods-producing and service industry subsectors except mining and quarrying. Expansion in economic activities also continued over into the January to March 2022 quarter by an estimated 6%.
This outturn represented the fourth consecutive quarter of growth and reflected a continuation of the recovery trend, following contractions in the corresponding quarter as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and associated public health and social measures implemented to manage its spread.
The PIOJ is projecting a positive outlook for the short term with an estimated 2 to 4% growth range for the April to June 2022 quarter. Going a bit further, Dr. Henry says growth for 2022-2023 financial year is projected within the range of 2 to 5%.
This revised forecast, down from the previous range of 3% to 6%, takes into consideration the high degree of uncertainty surrounding unfolding global developments, including the impact of geopolitical developments associated with the Russia-Ukraine war.
Approximately $1.5 billion will be spent on the construction and upgrading of police facilities in this financial year. As part of that, the Ministry of National Security is targeting the renovation of 15 police facilities at a cost of $500 million. The National Housing Trust will also begin construction of 5 stations at a cost of approximately $1 billion. These new police stations will be built at Frome and Little London in Westmoreland, Lacovia, St. Elizabeth, Anchovy in St. James, and Stony Hill in St. Andrew. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says government is completing the procurement process for the construction of the Westmoreland and St. Catherine Divisional Headquarters.
These are modern, professional centers, efficient, functional, user-friendly and customer-friendly. Adequate working stations for professional men and women of the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
He adds that procurement has concluded to engage professional services for the Montego Hills Police Facility, while the Greenacres Station is 92% complete. Minister Chang was making his contribution to the 2022-2023 sectoral debate in the House of Representatives on Wednesday. 128 residents of St. Catherine are now proud landowners, having received certificates of title for property they have occupied for several years. Prime Minister Andrew Holness presented the residents with their titles during a ceremony at the Old Harbour New Testament Church of God on Wednesday. The residents are from the communities of Old Harbour, Church Pen, Sharpers Lane, Thompson Pen, Bushy Park, and Old Harbour Bay. The titles were provided under the National Land Agency NLA's Systematic Land Registration SLR program. Through the SLR program, persons who have been in open, undisturbed, and undisputed possession of land for 12 years or more are afforded the opportunity to obtain titles for these lands. Prime Minister Holness says it's among government's various interventions to provide more legal land and shelter solutions for Jamaicans.
I am confident and I feel very happy that we now have a system in place that is going to ensure that every square inch of land in Jamaica falls under a register, a public register, that secures the property rights and interests of the persons who own it. And that is a major achievement for Jamaica 60.
The Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC is one step closer to adding 50 buses to its fleet. On Tuesday, the Ministry of Transport and Mining signed a contract with JR Wellington Import and Export Limited to procure the buses. Government will be spending approximately $6.4 million to acquire the 50 buses for placement in the Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region, KMTR. 45 will be diesel buses valued at $5.4 million, while $1.08 million will be spent on the remaining 5 electric buses. The vehicles are expected to be delivered between 6 and 9 months, commencing in the last quarter of this calendar year. Minister of Transport and Mining, Audley Shaw, says it is expected that the newer diesel buses will have better fuel efficiency and lower carbon footprint per passenger trip than the aged buses of older technology. He adds that the acquisition of the 5 electric vehicles serve as part of the government's thrust towards contributing to greener, cleaner, and cheaper transportation.
The electric buses procured today and will be supplied later in the year will indeed have the greatest impact on the environment and minimize the impact on the public's health. There are other savings in oil to be gained, as well as to reduce our carbon footprint in Jamaica and in turn reduce the cost for the public transport sector.
3 charging stations will be built to power the electric buses.
In time, given the success of these buses, we will expand both buses and charging stations. The possibility also exists that other entities may utilize these charging stations as we build them out.
More children with sensory challenges now have access to therapeutic assistance following the commissioning of an early stimulation program, ESP, Sensation Station, on Tuesday. The early stimulation program is administered through the Ministry of Labour and Social Security and provides early intervention for children who are affected by cognitive and physical developmental disabilities. These include mobility problems, fine and gross motor dysfunction, and disabling conditions such as autism. The newly opened Sensation Station in Kingston will aid in developing children's senses aged 0 to 6 through sensory stimulation.
You can see in each and every one of these children, look in their faces. You can see in each and every one of them, although they may not be able to communicate it to you. They have their aspirations, they have their peculiar personalities. It is for us, the able, to offer to them the greatest possible opportunity to achieve their fullest potential.
He says the ministry is considering a partnership with the Ministry of Finance to establish a Sensation Station in every parish. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Concerned about uncollected garbage at home? Do you see garbage piling up on the streets? Then report it. Use the National Solid Waste Management Authority's mobile app to report instances of littering, illegal dumping, and uncollected garbage. From anywhere and at any time, be an environment warden by informing the authority of unsightly solid waste. You will be notified when your report has been received by the NSWMA, as well as when the matter is resolved. Download the app from the iOS or Android app stores by typing in NSWMA. Play your part, as Jamaica's beauty is everybody's duty.
The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development will be undertaking several projects to improve living conditions for the indigent, parochial roads, access to potable water and electricity, and more. Portfolio Minister Desmond McKenzie shares the scope of work and the communities that will benefit.
The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development will make even a stronger contribution to the transformation of Jamaica. We want to erase the experience of people walking for miles to get water. That is why the drive to increase minor water supply is being accelerated this year with the completion of water shops in Commodore in Portland and Myersville in St. Elizabeth. That is why we are building more water shops in Manchester, Mile Gully, Porus, Somerset, and Johns Hall. This year we will complete a wide range of water supply projects at Water Mountain, Pear Tree Grove in St. Catherine, Cornwall Barracks, Bangor Ridge Phase 2, and Stone Hill in Portland. We go to St. Mary, we go to St. Elizabeth, we go to Mango Valley in St. Mary, Madam Speaker. All of this at a cost of $215 million under the Rural Development Upgrade Program. The government is listening to the call for better parochial roads. The answer from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development is to provide funds to carry out the repairs. Many residents in Jamaica want to be properly connected to the electric grid, but cannot afford the cost of house wiring in some areas. Infrastructure such as street light pole is insufficient. That is why this year, through the Rural Electrification Program, we'll be spending over $300 million to erect 10 kilometers of additional pole lines and connect 2,000 households across 10 communities to get electricity, Madam Speaker. We will be building at least 11 new concrete indigent housing in St. Mary, Hanover, and Westmoreland this year. Additionally, the joint initiative with the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, an unprecedented 120 social housing unit will be built in various parts of Jamaica this year, Madam Speaker, by the Prosperity Government. Under the Paint the City initiative, you want to go to Brownstown in St. Anne, you want to go into Lucy, you want to go into Hopewell, into downtown. Under this program, we are looking to improve our urban space. We have partnered with Jerry and Nevy, and Mayor Williams is there. You go to Crab Circle at Heroes Park, looks spanking nice and pretty. We are partnering to improve public spaces across the country. We're going to Brownstown, we're going to St. Anne, we're going to Lucy. We are spending funds, Madam Speaker, right across to transform spaces in Jamaica to give it a facelift. Over some $298 million will be spent on this program.
The tinting of your windscreen, cut it out. Public passenger vehicles, according to the Transport Authority Act, not supposed to have tints. I'm appealing to motorists out there. We have removed many plates because of fandangles that are on the motor vehicle. Colorful lights, red light, purple light, blue light, and these multicolored lights. Get them off. I've noticed some trends out there where there is different type of license plates on motor vehicles. Only the Jamaican issued driver's license plates are to be on the motor vehicles. Once you transport any passenger in a motor vehicle, ensure that they are buckled, whether they are on the front or they are on the back. The seatbelt gives people a fighting chance to survive the crash. Many people have died who never give themselves a fighting chance.
Here's a reminder of the assistance being offered by the government to ease the impact of high energy bills on the vulnerable.
Greetings, my fellow Jamaicans. The war in Ukraine has led to a global rise in the prices of energy commodities such as oil. This is beyond the control of anyone in Jamaica. Unfortunately, however, the rise in the price of oil has negatively impacted energy prices in Jamaica. Electricity bills have gone up. To cushion the impact of increased energy prices on vulnerable segments of the Jamaican population, the government of Jamaica has introduced the GOJ Energy Copay program, which is now in effect. For JPS postpaid customers who consumed 200 kilowatt hours of electricity or less in April 2022, your bill for May 2022 will reflect a contribution of 20% of the April 2022 expenditure. This contribution from the government of Jamaica will be itemized in red on your bill. This GOJ Energy Copay will continue for a period of 4 months. That is, for JPS bills invoiced in May, June, July, and August 2022 on electricity consumption in the previous month, where this consumption is 200 kilowatt hours or less, these bills will reflect a GOJ Energy Copay contribution of 20%. This will be automatic and no application is necessary. Furthermore, for JPS prepaid customers who purchased electricity in April, you will receive an automatic $3,000 top-up contribution from the government of Jamaica. This top-up will be delivered to your smart meter if you have one, or to your mobile phone by text message. Active JPS prepaid customers will receive this $3,000 top-up credit monthly for the 4 months of May, June, July, and August 2022. Approximately 379,000 Jamaican households will benefit from the Government of Jamaica's Energy Copay program at a cost of approximately $2 billion. This forms part of the Government of Jamaica's Social Assistance Initiative. The Government of Jamaica will continue to monitor and respond as appropriate within the boundaries of its fiscal capacity. God bless you, and God bless Jamaica.
The travel file application was created by the Transport Authority for the protection of the commuting public. Please download the travel file application on the Google Play Store or the Apple iOS Store. Once you download the application, put in your phone number, register the application under your phone number, and then you'll be able to verify the license plate that you're going in. Once you verify the license plate and the information of the vehicle, you will then be able to share that trip of the vehicle that you're in. And if there is difficulty on the trip, you then will be able to push a panic button and share your location with others as well. Download the application, give us our feedback at customerservice@ta.org.jm. Don't forget, it's free to download, free to use.
Well, the whole business of weather prediction and weather forecasting is really a complex business. So what the Meteorological Service does, along with many other meteorological services right across the globe, is that we do regular observations of the weather. It starts first of all by assessing what the current weather conditions are. We try to find out how much rainfall is being detected at that point in time. We are assessing wind speed or wind direction, and the atmospheric pressure is detected. The temperature is also sensed, as well as the humidity at any location. We have the automatic weather stations, and we have over 80 of them right across the 14 parishes. Apart from these instruments, we have visual observations that are done by meteorological technicians, and they do observations of the cloud cover, the wind conditions. They view the visibility, how far they can see in the distance. There are many parameters that are measured just by using the senses. We have our Doppler radar. It shows us where across the country rainfall is actually occurring at any point in time. We also sense what is happening in the atmosphere above the ground. So this is where our weather balloon comes into play, because that weather balloon is released twice every day in Jamaica to assess the atmosphere using a bit of equipment that is attached to that balloon. There are also like buoys that are in the ocean. They are sensing weather conditions. We have some ships that are equipped with stations that bring in information. There are pilots that send in information via aircraft. Then what we do with that information afterwards is that all of it goes into numerical weather prediction models. It gets crunched by a supercomputer. It sends back now some model data that tells us what is expected to occur. But of course, we don't rely entirely on the technology, because the experience of our forecasters is also important. We then have to sit down and assess what is really happening to the atmosphere. Using the local knowledge, using our understanding of the topography of the island, where the hills are located, where we're likely to get the land breezes and the sea breezes. All these things we have to take into consideration when we come up with a forecast for any specific point in Jamaica. It is a complex process, but that is how we in the Met Service actually forecast our weather conditions.
So, you've acquired your provisional or learner's driver's license, and the next step is getting the real deal. Well, the process for getting each is a bit different, but nonetheless very achievable.
Now, the fundamental difference between the provisional and the driver's license now is that with the driver's license you can drive by yourself, but with the provisional, an instructor have to be there with you, must be there with you at all times. Somebody who have a driver's license must be with you. So once you acquire the driver's license now, you can drive on your own.
But before we go in to get this piece of document, we must have an idea of the type of license that we're applying for. Here in Jamaica, there are 3 categories available: a motorcycle license, a private license for motor cars only, and a general license, which is for any vehicle including motorcycles and public passenger vehicles. Now it's time to head to an Island Traffic Authority depot. But don't leave these important documents: a completed driver's license application form, signed by a justice of the peace or a notary public, the examination fee receipt, your provisional driver's license or learner's permit, and 3 passport-size photographs, also signed by a JP or notary public.
First step we need to do is that we must be successful in the road code test, and we must acquire the provisional driver's license. Now, when you would have gone to your instructor, right? Your instructor would then decide when you are ready to go and do the test. You should prepare yourself for 3 things: the written test, the yard test, and the road test. You need to know how to navigate that motor vehicle, right, safely without hitting down anyone. So you need to be You need to be in control of the vehicle, right? Know when to brake, know when to gas, know when to turn, etc. Ensure that you know your road code, right? Know your road signs, know your road markings, know the responsibility of drivers, know the responsibility of other road users. Understand what the road marking signs mean, the white line mean, and know what they mean, and obey them. So those things are very critical, right? So once you know these things, right, then you're ready to do the written test. The written test have to deal with driving questions, driving issues.
It's mandatory for all applicants to complete this written test. Individuals are required to read a sentence, then complete the written test where the knowledge of vehicle mechanics will be tested for general license applicants.
And after you have passed the written test, then we take it to the yard test.
During the yard test, applicants' ability to start on a gradient or hill, parallel park, and reverse will be assessed.
So here, so now you learn hill start. Your instructor should teach you hill start, how to start on the hill, so you don't run back and create mayhem and crashing people behind you. So again, controlling the vehicle, very critical, right? So once you have done the hill start, you do the yard test, how you navigate the navigate on the road network. Just as how you would have to navigate out there in the real world. So we put you in that control. It's a control environment, right? So we carry you through that navigatory process. Once you have exercised that safely, right, that is good. Another component of it is that we need to see a reversing skills. We want to see that reversing skill being executed, and we want it to be done safely without creating any imbalances in the traffic environment. Once you have completed the yard test, the yard operations, yes, then we can take you out to the road. Because you'd have proven to us that we must take you out to the road, right? Now once we have taken you out to the road now, we give you some instructions, and the instructions should be followed, right? And you are assessed again. Once you have passed all three components, then a certificate of competence will be issued with respect to you. Now that certificate of competence now would then be used as the instrument that would allow you to access the technology of a driver's license, right? And the tax office now would be the ones that would issue you with that card, allowing you to drive for that period of time. If you have not executed the components properly, you will then be required to come back, right, to do the components that you have failed, right? So those things would have been documented, what you pass, and whatever you fail, you will be required to come back and do it.
And there you have it, the Island Traffic Authority's simple steps to help you achieve your very own driver's license.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine@jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.